Heyo, it's spooky season, and I thought the best way to celebrate it was to complete one of the scariest games from my childhood. Luigi's Mansion for the Nintendo Gamecube. Admittedly, I only really experienced Luigi's Mansion through my brother, since it was his copy of the game and I would just watch him play it most of the time. Although, he was an evil genius cause he would only let me play at night, and of course I would be too scared to play it. I mean, have you seen Luigi's face on the pause menu?
Oh my god!
Boo's face is cute though. Aww. So, in an effort to conquer my childhood fear, we're going to muster up enough courage and collect every achievement in Luigi's Mansion. Let's get started. So, if you haven't played Luigi's Mansion before, here's a basic summary. Luigi won a mansion in a contest he never entered. He tells Mario about it and the two decide to investigate the mansion before Mario mysteriously goes missing. We then go to investigate alone before being ambushed by a bunch of ghosts. Luckily, we're saved by an old man named Professor Egad, who tells us the mansion just appeared suddenly a couple days ago. So now it's our job to fight ghosts, find Mario, and collect as much money as we possibly can. Got all that? Good. Because the first progression achievement has us fighting the first boss. Just kidding. Well, not really. The first progression achievement is to fight the first boss, but there are some achievements that we can get before that. Like disappointing Egad. Before being sent into the mansion for some ghost busting duty, Professor Egad suits us up with his invention, the Poltergust 3000, and sends us to the training area for some practice. Here, we have to die by letting the ghost drag us around and not catch a single one in order to get the achievement. You know what? Maybe it's the controls, you know? I mean, it is a GameCube controller, so obviously it's going to be bad. And I did eat that rusty banana earlier, so maybe that's why I did so badly in the training. And oh yeah, I mean, I guess my pelvis does feel kind of mushy. Huh. Well, that was an easy one. Yep, if we go inactive on the controls menu for 3.5 minutes, then we'll get to hear Totaka's song. Kazumi Totaka is a composer from Nintendo who worked on multiple games and actually voice acted for some of the characters. He also sneaked a piece of music into a lot of the games that he composed, including Luigi's Mansion, of course. After being reinvigorated and filled with determination from his song, we enter the training area again and make Egad proud by catching 10 ghosts. Earning us another achievement before finally stepping into the mansion. The next achievement that we can get is super easy, but kinda odd. You see, Luigi's Mansion isn't a long game by any means, but it's definitely a big one. There are plenty of rooms to unlock, multiple floors to go through, and a decent amount of backtracking as well. Sometimes you'll unlock a door in an area that you already passed, and it can be quite tedious having to walk all the way back. Luckily, this is where mirrors come into play. If you look into any mirror with the Game Boy Horror and examine it, you'll be teleported to the front of the mansion, as well as earning the Mansion Express achievement. Just like with Totaka's song, this was something I didn't know about until way later in my life. I mean, if Kid Me knew that I could teleport from the armory room all the way to the front of the mansion, then maybe he wouldn't have been so upset about dying from one of the mice in the hallway that he started crying out of frustration. After taking care of Neville in his study and his wife Lydia in their master bedroom, we finally reached their bratty baby Chauncey, the first boss of the game. Chauncey uses some mystical voodoo powers to turn us tiny, and we have to play a decisively easy game of dodgeball in order to catch him and to earn the first progression achievement. For the most part, the progression achievements are rather simple since they're tied to just beating the game. But trust me, things get very hard, very fast later on. Just like Viagra. After defeating the first boss, Egad just so happens to have an invention that can put the ghosts back into their paintings and vice versa. After doing so, we've shown all of the beautiful paintings of the ghosts that we caught, and keep in mind the frames of each painting. They'll be important later. We're also shown a chart of all the money that we collected for that chapter of the game, and of course this will become a burden later on. Moving into the second chapter of the game, we can now unlock this door where we encounter Shivers the butler roaming the halls. And honestly, he's just vibing. So we can leave him be for now before encountering the floating Whirlindas in the ballroom. After tingling for a bit, we capture them and head into the storage room. For some reason, this room is much bigger than we're led on to believe, and there's this mysterious button that was hidden away. Yep, it turns out that a bunch of boos were locked away, and we just released them into the mansion. But hey, at least we got another achievement out of it. After being released from their cage, the boos quickly scatter into the rooms that we have completed so far. So, in order to progress, we have to capture 5 out of 50 boos, which gives us another achievement. Moving on, we get ambushed by a bunch of ghosts, and after capturing them all, the chest that spawns gives us something different. This here is the fire medallion, and besides being the next progression achievement, it allows us to shoot fire from the PG-3000, which we need to do in order to light these candles and be able to leave the room. If we use the fire to light the candles in this room, then we're rewarded with a key, which is such good level design. With the key in hand, we pass by Shivers and unlock the laundry room where we surprisingly come across Mario's hat. There's nothing we can really do with it right now, so we just shove it in our back pocket and accept the achievement for it. Making our way into the conservatory, if we knock on all the instruments, then they'll begin to play and we'll be able to meet Melody the pianist. She gives us a pop quiz, which we obviously get right on the second attempt, before we battle her music sheets and suck her up with the poltergeist. And honestly, all this ghost busting really works up an appetite. So we make our way to the dining room before encountering the glutton that is Mr. Lugs inside. He's actually the first optional ghost in the game, but we still have to catch him for some achievements, and apparently he literally ate himself to death. God, I wish that was me. And even in the afterlife, he still continues to eat. So we give him a surprise intervention by sucking up his food before shoving him into the poltergeist as well. Moving into the kitchen, we find the first water medallion, which lets us shoot water from the poltergeist and unlock the next achievement. With our new ability, we can water this plant now and in the future chapters for another achievement. We can also use it to put some water in Spooky's dog bowl, causing him to appear and in order to catch him. And once we do, we can make our way to his doghouse where we encounter the next boss and probably the most unsettling ghost we've seen so far. Its name is Bogmire, and there's really not a lot of lore about it besides the fact that 3 achievements are tied to capturing it, including one of the big 3 hardest achievements in the set. We could try to go for it now, but there's an easier method later in the game. So for now, we just bog down Bogmire, collect the key, and admire our achievement before moving on to the next chapter. With the new key that we got, we're able to unlock the courtyard, which is one of my favorite areas of the game. It just has a nice vibe to it. I mean, there's a lot of plants, that's cool. There's this toad that's just chilling in an outhouse. Another one of Mario's belongings, as well as another achievement. I mean, what's there not to like about this? What was that? It looked like it came from this well. Yeah, who would have thought it would have been King Boo that did all this? But you know what helps with dealing with traumatic events? That's right, baby, hitting the gym, doing a little bit of cardio, using your heelys to escape your feelies, as well as unlocking another achievement, of course. While also hitting the gym, we encounter Biff Atlas, the second optional ghost in the game, and challenge him to a suck-off. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna keep it real. I don't know why I decided to phrase it like that, but it was 2 in the morning and I was very delusional, okay? So let's just forget that it happened. After sucking him up, we make our way to the tea room where we find something interesting. This button flips gravity and allows us to walk on the ceiling, which is perfect because there's an achievement tied to capturing a ghost while we're upside down. Once we've cleared out the room and the lights turn on, we're rewarded with another achievement from collecting the ice medallion. With our newfound ice abilities, we can use it on a boo to stun it and unlock another achievement before making our way to the second floor bathroom. Here, we interrupt Miss Petunia's presumably hot shower before throwing hands with Grandma, and thank God it wasn't the other way around.
Something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house. Rob!
Naked Grandma!
Naked, huh?
Moving on to one of the weirdest rooms in the game, we enter the observatory. What makes this room so peculiar is when we look through this telescope, it just falls apart and we're left with a beautiful view of the moon and some floating space ghost. What we're supposed to do is take these space ghosts and shoot them at the moon, which is oddly very difficult for some reason. You know that old phrase, shoot for the moon.
Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars.
Yeah, well, we just get pissed off and blow it up. And hey, look what we found. Moving on to the billiards room, we encounter the third optional ghost, Slim Bankshot. And after a fair game of pool, we suck him up before moving on to the projection room, where we find the second to last of Mario's belongings. The last one is located in the twins, Henry and Orville's room. Pretty much, we have to play a guessing game with them by choosing which box they're hiding in. Oh, and here's a tip for those that don't know. You can tell which one they're in by if the box shakes when you suck on it. God, that I don't like that phrasing. If it shakes, one of the brothers are hiding in it, and if not, then it's empty and you have to leave the room and start over. Definitely did not know about this while going for another one of the big 3 achievements. But regardless, we kick their ghostly behinds, grab Mario's shoe from the chest, and make our way back to the fortune teller's room for a spooky seance session. This here is Madame Clairvoyant, and she actually can help us find Mario. By bringing her one of Mario's belongings, she will commune with the spirits in order to give us some hints about what's really going on in the mansion. The only reason we didn't do it one by one is because, well, we didn't need to until we had all of Mario's items, as we're unable to capture her until we do. Oh, and 2 things. 1, did anyone else think that she had a huge gap in her teeth instead of wearing a bandana when they saw her for the first time? And 2, if she's willingly ready to go, then why does she put up so much of a fight? But it's alright, because after sucking her up, we're met with the second to last boss fight. Yeah, the boos that are left throughout the mansion have planned an ambush for us, and have turned into boolasses. This fight isn't that bad, but it does get more annoying the further you get into it. What we have to do is grab the giant boo and pop it on the tip of the statue. This will cause the boos to scatter, and we can then use the poltergust to freeze them and suck them up. What makes this fight difficult is the fact that the less boos there are, the harder it is to hit them. Not to mention, there's another achievement in the game for freezing 10 boos with 1 ice shot. This by itself seems impossible to do since the boos are so scattered. But there is actually a speedrun strat that we can use here. As soon as the boos scatter, if we head all the way to the other side of the balcony until they're off screen, then they will group together and chase us. This gives us the perfect opportunity to fire an ice ball into the horde of them. But there's still some difficulties with this. For one, is that you pretty much have to shoot the ice blindly into the horde of boos. This means that you won't actually know if the boos are grouped close enough to freeze 10 at once, which is another reason why this achievement is the last of the big 3. The boos don't always group together or in the same way. It kinda feels random and you're just hoping for things to line up. Oh, also if you suck up too many boos, then the achievement will disappear. But all in all, this one wasn't so bad. It definitely took a while, but if I messed up once, then I would just run to the other side and rinse and repeat, until I finally froze 10 boos at once. Now, we just have to finish the fight, collect the second to last area key, along with an achievement, before moving on to the final chapter of the game. After collecting all those ghosts, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, the mansion's all lit up, we know how to say Mario, and hey, maybe we can even go out for ice cream after all this. Of course. Well, with the power gone, every area that was once lit up is now dark and just infested with angry spirits. So, after escaping a pack of ghosts, we get a quick achievement for it and begin to hunt down Uncle Grimly because apparently he took the key to the break room. But before we do that, there are some achievements that we can get while the power is out. The first one we can get is by capturing 3 ghosts at once. This one isn't too bad if we go to the parlor room since a lot of orange spirits are here. Its successor is a bit harder but still doable, so we just reload the save and get that one as well, before moving on to the much more difficult one. Throughout the game, we've been collecting coins, gold bars, cash, pearls, diamonds, and gems from furniture within the mansion. And there have also been certain spirits that are hidden away that can give us a boatload of money as well. But they are much harder to catch. These spirits are known as speedy spirits, and 3 of them only spawn during the blackout. One in the piano bench in the conservatory, one in a chest in the hidden room, and the last one being the hardest one in the crib in the nursery. What makes these spirits so difficult to catch is that you have to do it very quickly after stunning them with your flashlight. If you aren't quick enough, then they will just disappear. This one took a couple attempts and I had to reload the game a couple of times because I couldn't seem to catch the one in the nursery fast enough. That was until I looked at the comments of the achievement and saw someone had posted a very helpful tip. After trying it again and following along with the tip, I got the last speedy spirit first try and was able to get the stealthy achievement. Now after all that, all we have to do is find Uncle Grimly hiding somewhere in the mansion, and with a quick Google search, he's in the wardrobe room. Yeah, Google has ruined a lot of puzzles in video games. So we go to the wardrobe room, capture Uncle Grimly, grab the key to the breaker room, and turn the power back on. Now with the power restored, it's about time we got back on track. The next portrait ghost we need to catch is in the clockwork room, and there's actually 3 of them. These are the clockwork soldiers, and each one of them has 100 HP, meaning they're the second highest HP portrait ghost in the game. Luckily, however, we can catch them one by one, which makes this fight a lot easier. The next portrait ghost that we have to go after is the 4th optional ghost, Sweet Pea. Okay, so I'm still in the middle of editing this, but I just realized that Sweet Pea sounds like sleepy. Her name is Sweet Pea and she's sleepy. Like, what? She says that she doesn't want to be woken up, so we respect her boundaries by waterboarding her and sucking her into our vacuum. The last optional ghost that we have is Jarvis, and it's by far the most odd portrait ghost. Either way, we capture the thing before moving on to the second to last portrait ghost. This chilly fellow's name is Sir Weston, and he really does not like fire. The gimmick to this fight is that the floor is made out of ice, making it slippery, and the icicles on the ceiling can hurt you. But even then, this fight isn't too bad, and we capture Sir Weston before moving on to the final portrait ghost. The last ghost is actually the painter Vincent van Gogh, the ghost who created all of the other ghosts, which brings up a good question. If he created all of the other ghosts, then who created him? Anyway, we don't have time to worry about that right now since he's hitting us with a gauntlet of all the ghosts we fought so far. They aren't too hard, but can definitely be overwhelming. After we fight all of them off though, it just leaves us with Vaughn, and he's a complete pushover. Now with all the portrait ghosts captured, we get an achievement for turning on all the lights in each area. Oh, and you know those pearls that would pop out while capturing portrait ghosts? Well, the better you do, the bigger pearls they would drop. And if you manage to suck them into the poltergust within one try, then you get a big pearl. We were able to perfect all 19 portrait ghosts along the way, so we got that achievement as well, before getting another achievement for grabbing the last key. But before we can move on to fight King Boo, we make sure to collect all 50 Boos for an extra achievement. Now facing King Boo, he creates a replica of Bowser to inhabit, which we have to battle with. The final fight against King Boo isn't really difficult, just annoying. He can spit fire at you, hit you with a bomb, or just straight eat you. But once we explode Bowser's head off, which isn't traumatizing at all, we're free to suck up King Boo and repeat the process until he's captured, granting us the final progression achievement. After dealing with King Boo, we quickly take the painting with Mario in it and free him before all the money we have collected so far gets added up. This is important because depending on how much money we got throughout the game, we'll receive a different rank from A all the way down to H. And of course, there's achievements tied to those as well. So after restarting the entire game, I decided to go for the Penniless Plumber achievement, since the latter would require a lot more work. which is what I originally thought before realizing something. It's actually pretty tough trying to be bad at the game. To put it into perspective, we have to play through the entire game again without collecting more than 4,999,999 G in order to earn the H rank. A single gold coin is worth 5,000 and a single gold bar is worth a whopping 100,000. So we really have to try to not get anything, or else we might have to start over. Thankfully, I overstressed how difficult this would be. It's definitely nerve-wracking picking up some money, but if it's just coins, then you can take damage and get rid of them. At the end of my second playthrough, I had only collected a measly 775,000 G and got the achievement. Now, the third playthrough is where a lot of the harder achievements started to come into play because we had to do a lot of them in the Hidden Mansion. For those who don't know, the Hidden Mansion is pretty much New Game Plus. The ghosts are harder, but you can earn a lot more gold. You take more damage, but your poltergust has increased power. Oh, and the entire mansion's layout is mirrored. The first achievement that we can get right off the bat is the Mario is missing one. For this one, we have to capture Neville, Lydia, and Chauncey before obtaining the first area key within 7 minutes. I thought this one was going to be pretty tough and time consuming, but it turned out to be really fun and easy. We can save a lot of time by skipping the animation that plays each time you collect a key, as well as using the mirror in the wardrobe room to quickly warp back to the start of the mansion. Honestly, the biggest obstacle for me was making sure to suck up Chauncey as much as I can without having to do unneeded cycles. And after about 3 tries, I was able to nab the achievement with a time of 6 minutes and 15 seconds. So I still had a lot of time left actually. Now, a lot of the achievements that are left actually require you to unlock them in the Hidden Mansion. 4 of them are for defeating all the bosses without falling below 90 HP, which isn't too tough, and we have to do that anyway since we have to get a gold frame for all of the portrait ghosts for the art collector achievement. Depending on how well you capture each portrait ghost determines which frame and artwork it will have when it gets turned back into a painting. You'll receive a bronze frame if you suck up less than 50 HP in one go, a silver frame if you manage to suck up more than 50 HP, and a gold frame if you manage to capture the ghost all in one go. For most of the portrait ghosts, this isn't so bad, but there were 4 ghosts that really gave me trouble. The first one was Bogmire because I was mainly going for another achievement as well. Not only do we have to retain at least 90 HP, but we also have to capture him in one go. This proved to be a lot more difficult than I had anticipated, and for a couple of good reasons. The first one is that while trying to capture him in one go, you can lose your HP very quickly. Another reason is that while you're sucking him up, his shadow forms can get into the way and interrupt you, which voids both achievements since they do more than 10 damage. This was one of 2 achievements where I had to actually turn off hardcore mode just so I could use save states to practice. And honestly, it really paid off. After a while, I got the hang of sucking up Bogmire without too much HP, and then it only took a couple of tries to get both achievements. It just took a lot of patience is all. The next achievement that I unlocked kinda happened accidentally. What you're supposed to do is deal 100 damage to a portrait ghost and suck them up in under 5 seconds. I got this one when sucking up Melody, and it was kind of a relief because I thought this one was going to be especially difficult. But that relief was quickly torn away with the next portrait ghost that I encountered. The next portrait ghost that really gave me trouble for the gold frame was Henry and Orville for the same reason. I wanted to try and grab them in one go, but there's also an achievement for capturing both at the same time. This one took a lot of practice too, but my biggest pain point was that I had to play their dumb guessing game after each attempt. Even after practicing, I just couldn't grab both brothers at the same time. That's when I decided to check back to the comments to see if anyone had any tips, and there were some great ones. The biggest tip that helped me was actually taking damage from Henry. If you take damage, then you have a period where you're invulnerable. And if you're invulnerable, then you don't have to worry about taking damage, and can just suck them up. I used this strat along with my own of letting Henry hit me while on the bunk bed ladder, that way I can take damage from him and cancel out the animation for it. This proved to be very effective because just after an hour of trying, I got this to happen. Once that achievement was unlocked, all I did was reload the save file and got the other one for collecting twins in one pull, since only sucking up the second brother counts towards the frame you receive. The next one that really gave me trouble was actually Boolossus, and that was just because I was super nervous. You can't get hit once because it'll take you lower than 90 HP, and the less boos there are, the harder it is to collect them. And when there's just one boo left, it's so nerve-wracking because it's just so damn quick and nimble as it darts towards you. Thankfully though, after being very careful and playing it safe, I was finally able to freeze the last boo and to suck it up to get the achievement. The last portrait ghost that gave me trouble was King Boo himself. This was mostly due to the bombs that he tosses at you, mainly because there's a chance that they can go off prematurely and take off a lot of your health. For this fight specifically, you can't get hit once because any damage you take will deal more than 10. There are hearts in the pillars that Bowser destroys, but honestly, they don't give you enough to get you over the 90 HP threshold. For this one, I just tried to keep moving and playing it safe. I would make sure that the bomb I sucked up wouldn't go off, and made sure to keep moving while sucking up King Boo so I didn't get hit by Bowser's Ice Breath. And thankfully, after 2 hours, I was able to get the perfect run and defeat King Boo without taking any damage, nabbing us a bunch of achievements. The first one was for defeating King Boo in a hidden mansion. The next one was for doing it while maintaining at least 90 HP, and since we also took the time to collect every gemstone, gold brick, and diamond throughout the mansion, we also got the real mansion achievement, which leaves us with only one more achievement left. And it's a doozy. Alright, the actual last achievement that we need is called Absolutely Beautiful. Here's how we got it. So first, I decided to go after the boo called Bouffant that resides in the pipe room. It has 300 HP, and I thought it would be slower, so the plan was to whittle it down to just around 150 HP and let it escape to another room where I would catch it. Well, I got it down to 194 before he left the room. No biggie, still way above 150, caught him lacking in the hall, dealt 2 damage. Alright, that's fine, I know what room he's in. But I somehow triggered another boo to spawn that had exactly 150 HP. I mean, when in Rome, so I went ahead for that one, until I accidentally left the room, came back, switched to gravity, and it escaped into the hall. Then into another room. Jesus Christ, this has become so much more complicated than it has had to have been. So I follow it into that room before it hits me and darts into the same exact room where we started from. I swear, if we capture this boo in the room we started from, I'm going to lose my shit. When I entered the room, I immediately went for the throat and tried to freeze his ass to stun him before starting to suck him up. Yeah, I didn't get very far with that one, but it's fine. We still have that other one, right? So I made my way to the break room because that's where it seemed like he went. Thankfully, he's there and I began to suck him up, but it doesn't go well and I let him escape with 162 HP. He went into that damn same hallway, didn't he? So I make my way back to the hallway and sure enough, he's there with the fucking friend. They both escaped to the exact same room where all this began, and I let the other boo escape because it holds no value to me. And I begin to stick up the first boo. Well, he gives me a little love tap, but we keep on fighting and manage to finally capture him, grabbing the final achievement that we needed in the same damn room where it all began.